is one thing. So whenever we define anything in the organizational level, so automatically they can reuse in all the divisions and all the units. But sometimes what they do, particularly under the division, they are going to define some data. For example, see some properties are required in all the classes. See some particular related to some this particular division one, you need to use the properties in work, you want to use the same properties in data, you want to use the same properties, and under INT also you want to use the same properties or same UI design. In that case, they can directly define in the division one, but anything created in the division one, can I reuse in the division two unit classes? If anything created in the division one, can I reuse in the division two units? It is not possible, right? So according to the inheritance concept, when any group is created, see alpha type and work, alpha type and data, alpha type and int. Like that, the second division name will be alpha life work, alpha life data. So if I create in division one, only in the division one units only I can use. And if I add in the division 2 class, only in the division 2 units only we can use. So that is all come under inheritance concept. So if you need the data in all the divisions and all the units means, add in the organization level. If you need the design in the all the units within the same implementation means, we can create in the division level. Or sometimes, but most of the data directly we'll be creating under individual units, will be creating some data, will be directly under the work, will be creating under the data, will be creating some design, and under int some designs will be creating. So that if you create in the work means, under the work some subclasses we need, right? So under the subclasses they can reuse. Like under the data, if you create any, under all the data classes we can reuse. Under int, if you create any, under all the integration classes we can reuse the data. So like that, PEGA reusability will work. So connections, class names, class inheritance connections, everything is already defined. So only thing is, so based on the reusability in the application, suppose, see again, one thing is, if you create in the data, again I can reuse in all the work classes, I can reuse, guys. Okay, see again in unit classes also we have reusable classes are there. See alpha type and data is again reusable, it's abstract class. Again alpha type and int is a abstract class. So again, if you create in data and int, not only under these subclasses, you can also reuse in the work layer also, we can reuse, or in the work layer, if you define any subclasses, there also we can reuse. So that is the actual concept of inheritance concept in PEGA. So even though there are some unit classes, again from data and int to the work classes also I can reuse the data. Okay, because see, that's what, see, PEGA understanding is simple only, but if you know the basics, it is very easy to understand. Okay, so there are many other days are there to discuss many other things, but starting concepts like today's topic, what we are discussing, so this is the base thing in the PEGA development, very core concept in the PEGA development. If you know this, you can manage work anywhere in any organization. If you get any kind of work requirement, you can manage easily. But some basics, very simple basics only will be there. So those, if you get it, you can easily understand PEGA technology. Like that, every concept will be associated with these classes only. Okay, so like that, so that's the reason first we discussed about the what are all the class names we have. Now this inheritance concept, if you see, like parent to child, any subclasses, see automatically we know, right? So in parent class, any data is there, we can reuse in the child classes. Or in the division, see for the unit classes, what is the parent? I said for unit classes parent is division, for division parent class is organization. And suppose, what is the parent class for the organization here? Can anyone guess what is the parent class for the organization?
Object class.
Means, can you mention the name? See, actually,
Base class.
Yes.
what is the main class group in application? What is the main class?
Framework.
Base at the rate base class.
Oh, no. Listen to the question. What is the main class group for our implementation? Full, mention the full class name.
Alpha auto instruments.
See, alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen work, right? See, for that, what is the parent?
Parent.
See, for the or simple
PEGA application.
for the work layer, what is the parent class here?
Division 1.
Division 1. Division.
See, for work layer, I'm asking. See, work layer means complete class, right? So alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen work. See, the same question indirectly also for organization also you can say. It will be same mostly. See, for organization or for the work layer, what will be the parent? Or can you tell me
PEGA
for
platform.
no. See the class names once. I'll go to the document page once. See this today's session I'll take it very slowly. See, no hurry at all. See here, this is the work layer, right? See from which class this class is derived. See, suppose data layer is, I told you one point today also. I told you data layer is derived from one class. Integration layer is derived from some class. Like that, work layer is derived from some class. I said one point today. Did you remember anyone? So, from which class this integration layer is derived?
Integration class. INT classes.
Tell me the correct name. Correct name. See, what are predefined classes?
Abstract class.
Or data INT.
See, basically in abstract classes, if you take any predefined classes except at the even this is also abstract. See, abstract classes. One more thing is they will end with hyphen. Okay, they will end with hyphen. That is in the predefined category, not in the user-defined category. But most of the predefined classes will end with hyphen. See, for integration layer, what is the direct parent? All its functionalities are derived from this int-hyphen class. Similarly, for data layer, all its functionalities are derived from data-hyphen class for data layer. So, what is the parent class for the work layer?
Work hyphen class.
Work hyphen will be the parent. Okay. So, like that, see any allow or same thing. If you take organization class also, if you take organization class also, so the parent will be nothing but your work hyphen will be the parent class. So if I ask you one point, so what is the parent class for organization also? Nothing but your work hyphen or work hyphen cover hyphen class will be the direct parent for the organization class. Or same way for complete work layer, if I ask also, you can mention work hyphen cover hyphen. Actually, in old versions means work hyphen will be there, but in the present versions it will be work hyphen cover hyphen you can mention. Okay. So here in application, whenever any configuration is given, user-defined classes configuration is given. So for this, I told you, right? So the parent class for every layer again will be some built-in class will be there as a parent class. Like integration layer means int hyphen. Okay. Like data layer will be derived from data hyphen, and in work layer will be derived from work hyphen cover hyphen. So where you can check that, see, open your data layer or integration layer first. So I told you how to check the class configuration. So click on definition under the, when you right click on that, click on definition. See, not only the type of class we can see, what from which class it is inherited also we can see here. So we can see through which class this particular data layer is inherited. That is the parent. That what is the parent for this data layer means data hyphen is the parent. Like that, if you check for integration layer, int hyphen will be there as the parent class. And if you check for the work layer, so these are all PEGA defined things. Only thing is we are just understanding these. Okay. So nothing to change, not even a single feature we don't change which is generated, but we need to know what is all the backend configuration. Okay. So like that, any class, if you take inheritance and all, it will make the parent and child class relationship possible. And any data, according to the image, if you see any data, if you have in the parent, see all the predefined classes data we can reuse under any of these classes we can reuse. Like that, when working on the application design and development, so anything if you want to reuse within the implementation level, or within your organization level anything if you want to reuse means, if you define in organization class means, so that you can reuse in all the divisions and all the units we can reuse. Okay, or else sometimes we'll create the data in the data tables if you have in application means, we can reuse in any work classes or work layer we can reuse, or any integration connections if we have, again under any work layer or work classes we can reuse in the same implementation. So that all don't worry, again when we work on the exercises and practicals you'll understand more. As of now, so know about the, see, just to know about the which class come under abstract and which class come under concrete. So now I'll just mention, like once again, see, organization class come under, you can repeat, organization class come under.
Work hyphen cover hyphen.
No, I'm asking about abstract or concrete.
Abstract.
So division class,
Abstract.
okay, your data,
Abstract.
INT.
Abstract.
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 So work come under.
Concrete.
Concrete.
So concrete, but you have to again mention the complete. Concrete is a class group, okay? Because in concrete we have categories, right? So, but if you define any subclasses under work means, if you have a subclass under work, what is the path for that? If a subclass is there under the work means, concrete belongs to class group. So, like if you have any subclasses under data or INT means,
Does not belongs to.
so does not belongs to class group. Okay, so just learn those things. That is initially it is required for a PEGA developer compulsory. So though we don't define all these things, just if you have the basic information about these classes, it is enough. Okay, now let's begin the, so again in this inheritance only, okay, you can mute your microphones. Again if I ask any, you can unmute. So now in the inheritance only, PEGA categorize them into pattern and direct inheritance. Okay, so this is again a simple thing only, nothing confusing, but I'll make it very simple. See, what is pattern means, see, between any group of classes, whatever the connection created in PEGA, suppose see, if you see, organization and division connection is there and division to unit connection is there, right? So this any two or more classes connected, see, even if two classes, like if you take a division class also, it is a two classes connection. Suppose see any two or more classes connected, okay, in PEGA, it can be user defined or predefined. So any, mostly generally we can see such classes in the user defined category only. We'll say in predefined means, example is work hyphen cover hyphen is one example. Like that in the user defined classes, if you see, so connection between organization and division, this hyphen is there, right? This is pattern. Like a connection between your organization, division and unit class, the three classes connected, right? So this is pattern. Like in the future, if I define any more classes under work layer, if I add a subclass, so all these connection come under pattern. So pattern is represented with a, actually internally, again when you open any class in PEGA, so pattern will be represented by a checkbox. Okay, and where you can see that, again open and see, this class definition is already open for the work layer. See, if you check this under the class inheritance, you can see there is an option called pattern and it is represented with a checkbox, and this checkbox by default it will be selected for every class. Like whenever a group of classes are there, for all the classes it will be enabled. Okay, by default it will be enabled and never you'll get an option to remove that. So always it will be enabled and no need to change this feature or no need to uncheck this feature. So the pattern is represented by a checkbox, and any group of classes, pattern is created based on the group of classes connected. Okay, like if that, in that case most of the classes are user defined, but in any predefined classes also two or more classes connected means compulsory internally pattern inheritance will apply, and that is one thing. And in pattern inheritance, if you again see the image, see for work how many parents are there, like alpha hyphen alpha type and work. See for work how many parents are there. See,
Two.
this is one pattern, right? Division is one pattern and for that organization is one pattern. So two parents are there for the work. Like data, this is one pattern connected, and again organization is another pattern connected for the data. Same will apply for the INT also. Like that. So pattern here, how many classes are associated in that particular layer or anything. So all these are represented with a hyphen, or that connection will be internally in PEGA. It is represented by a checkbox. Okay. See what happens if I remove this checkbox. See, I'm going to remove the checkbox. Okay. See what happens if I remove the checkbox. So here one point is a pattern can have one or more parents I can have. In pattern inheritance, a child can have one or more parent I can have. Another thing is if I remove the checkbox, what will happen? Can I reuse any data if I remove that checkbox physically under the class? Can I reuse the data from organization or from division to the unit class? Can I reuse?
No.
No.
So
No, we
connection
cannot.
will be disabled and we can't reuse any data from the parent to child. Okay. So there is no requirement in application to remove that option. So maximum for every class, it will be by default, it will be enabled. So no need to remove the pattern inheritance for any class. Suppose if you remove and save also, see sometimes they may ask you pattern is mandatory or optional. See if I remove, it will, if I save it, it is not throwing any error message. If I remove means only thing is there will not be any reusability from division to the unit class. So but we don't remove, but pattern is not mandatory. Pattern is required for every class and PEGA will generate that, but we will never manually remove the pattern inheritance. Okay. So just to go through these points. So pattern is generated based on the group of classes connected. In this, user defined classes will be there and predefined classes also will be there. And pattern is having one or more classes can be there as a parent. So in pattern, a child can have one or more parent, and pattern is optional, okay, but required for every class in the application. So these are all examples for the pattern. So alpha hyphen work hyphen insurance, or alpha hyphen work. Again, only division we can't mention as a pattern actually. This is individual class. Actually, you can't mention only the organization class as a pattern. Only two or more classes connected, then only we can set it as a pattern inheritance. Okay. Then so that is like that any class if you take in PEGA, so compulsory any group of classes if you are connecting, so compulsory pattern will apply. Okay. So from all these classes reusability will apply automatically. If I create in organization, I can reuse up to the insurance class. If I create in organization in this structure, up to the work I can reuse the data, or in this class up to the division I can reuse the data. Okay. So like that internally this functionality will be defined in the backend, and like that in the same inheritance, PEGA also has one more inheritance called direct inheritance. So this is also generated by PEGA, but know the names. See particularly already this point is discussed previously. See in compulsory, if you take every layer particularly, so every layer will have a some direct parent will be there, and that is nothing but direct inheritance. Suppose if you take work layer, so the direct parent defined by PEGA is work hyphen cover hyphen. Like if you take data layer or integration layer, so data layer means data hyphen will be there as a direct parent. Like if you take integration layer, int hyphen will be there as a direct parent. So direct parent and all, it is mandatory. See, if I remove the direct inheritance, see, if direct inheritance is not given, just assume and can you give answer? Suppose for your user defined classes, if direct inheritance is removed, what happens? Can I do any design in the application? See, simple, if you understand previous things, you can answer this easily. See, if I
Yeah,
remove
we
the
cannot
direct
use.
inheritance, can I design anything in the application? If direct inheritance is not
Yes.
given, can I design anything in
Yes.
the application?
We cannot.
Okay, if
No.
not means
We
why?
can design because it's a pattern also is there, right?
But pattern is what? Pattern is just a connection, the connection between the classes, right? Just a, it is just a connecting the dots. But there is, what is the use of direct inheritance? See, without defining direct inheritance, if you have pattern, what is the use? See, when direct inheritance is not there, So only pattern is there. What is the use of that class? It is like nothing like just a trash, right? So class is just, it will not be, we can't use that class anywhere in the application. The reason is, see PEGA, okay, or you can mute a microphone. See in the PEGA configuration, if you see what I said, all the built-in functionalities are available under the built-in classes like work if and see your 80% of the business logic related to the application, or 80 to 90% of the configuration in @base class and work class, it will be there. Okay, regarding the PEGA development, under @base class and under work hyphen only 80% of the design templates will be available. So if particularly this particular direct parent is not given, what happens means, see first of all we can't save the class. If I remove the direct parent, see it will show the error. So without having a direct parent, so there is no option in the application to define anything. So direct parent pattern is optional. Pattern, if you remove, what happens, we can't just use the data. Maybe you can directly add in the work, but above classes in organization or division, if any data is there, we can't reuse. But even that also we don't change, don't worry. But direct inheritance is not there means, so first of all we can't save the class. If class is not saved, we can't open that class and we can't define anything under the class, means we can't reuse any single functionality also we can reuse in the application, because PEGA completely work on reusability. See, you are not going to begin the development from zero here. Already 60 to 70% of the PEGA rules are already available in the platform. So only thing is we are reusing the templates and developing the application given according to the requirement given. So if direct parent is not given for any layer, it is like completely, it's a just a nothing, it's a null thing. So no, nothing we can develop in the application. So direct inheritance is compulsory required in the PEGA platform, so it is mandatory. So again for every layer, again say for work layer I can't give data hyphen as a direct parent, or for integration layer I can't give work hyphen as a direct parent. For every particular layer, some associated particular built-in class will be there as a direct parent. And we know, right, for work layer means it will be work hyphen cover hyphen. For data layer means it will be data hyphen. For integration layer means it will be int hyphen. So same is defined under the direct inheritance. Whatever we discussed earlier, the same will be defined inside the direct inheritance. So it will be compulsory. It must be defined. Some every layer, if you take some predefined class, will be there as a direct parent, and it will be having only one direct parent. If you take any class in PEGA, I will tell you the hierarchy also. Simple hierarchy I will mention here. See, for any layer, if you take example, I'm particularly doing this for the work layer, guys. This hierarchy, complete hierarchy, I'm going to give for the work layer. See, work layer name we know, right? Example, according to the application we are using. See, this is one. See, for this, what is the direct parent means? See, individually again, if you consider for work means direct parent is division, and for division direct parent is organization, but I'm particularly taking for complete class. Okay. So for complete class, or for if you consider for organization class, or you can also take it as individual organization class also you can take. So either for complete work layer or for organization class, direct parent will be work hyphen cover hyphen. And for this direct parent will be work hyphen. And so for work hyphen direct parent will be @base class. See, any class if you take in PEGA, the super class will be, it will be derived from @base class. So same thing now if I apply for any other layer. But here you will not be getting organization. Individual class we don't get. So here for data layer we don't get like a data hyphen cover hyphen separately will not be there. You'll only have data hyphen as the direct parent. And similarly for integration layer,
Int dash is the direct.
So int hyphen will be the direct parent will be int hyphen. Okay, and see here always for any class if you take those, it will be completely derived from at the rate base class, it will be derived. Okay, so that is the configuration in the backend. So like that, if you see any child class, if you take, see if you take any class in PEGA, only one direct parent only will be having. See, even this work hyphen cover hyphen come under one class, not two classes. Okay, see for work layer and all, so this work hyphen cover hyphen come under one parent only. For this parent is work hyphen, for this parent is direct parent is at the rate base class. See now, suppose if I define any subclass like under the work layer, if I define subclass, now can you tell me what is the direct parent for work classes? Suppose in the application, if I create a table in the application, table 1, but I'm just mentioning the name here, but if I define any table for this, what is the direct parent now?
Data hyphen.
Data.
Data hyphen is for data layer, right? Please check it and give correct answer. See, it should be complete class, right? See, complete class come under one. See, what I mentioned under the data layer only will be defining tables, I said, right? See, any tables if you define, your complete data layer will be the parent, not only just a data or see, this data is unit class. Only unit class can't be parent, right? So only under the unit class we can't define the tables, right? So like if you create any work classes or integration classes, the complete layer will be the parent for that. Okay, like if you define case types or work classes, your work layer will be the parent. So again, if you go to the, see, if you create any work classes, your complete work layer will be the direct parent. Same any data classes if you define, your complete data layer will be the direct parent. Like integration classes if you define, your complete integration layer will be the direct parent. Okay, so that is a just a basic understanding, but still if you have any doubts, once again thoroughly go through the recording or document. So any questions first up to here? See, some confusion will be there, but the terms and all initially it will be confusing for everyone. But once go through all these points, it will be easy only. Okay. Still, any doubts are there? Again, we are going to use these subclasses and other things in the next scenarios again. So then you may understand more about this configuration. Okay. So that is up to the basic technical regarding the classes and inheritance concept. Okay. So now I want to show you. See, this inheritance tree, if you want to verify on your own, see for every class, whatever I discuss, if you want to see the inheritance tree by your own, the same, you can also check it manually. See, if you right click on this class, you can see there is an option called inheritance. It is read only thing. See here, this all come under pattern. See, this is complete user defined classes and group of classes, right? So only pattern will apply for this, and for this also pattern only will apply. But individual class, if you take, see for what is the direct, what is inheritance for organization class, work hyphen cover hyphen, right? So that's why I have taken organization class will be having the direct parent as work hyphen cover hyphen. So that's why for this only it will be there as direct inheritance, it will be there. And see for work hyphen cover hyphen, if you see this example, this is something new. See, some classes and all will have both pattern and direct, both will be there. And this is the example. See, between these two, work and cover, between these two, pattern is applied. And for this, there must be some direct parent, right? So work hyphen is the direct parent. So that's why for this inheritance type, it will be there as both. The reason why both is there for this, because between these two pattern is applied, and for this direct parent is work hyphen. So that's why in this path the inheritance type we can see as both. But if you check for data layer or integration layer, both will not be there, because there for organization directly the direct parent name will be there as int hyphen if it is integration layer, or if it is a data layer means data hyphen will be there as a direct parent. So only in case of work layer you can see this dual inheritance will be calling. So if pattern and direct both are applied for the same class, we'll call it as a dual inheritance, we can say. Okay. And for work, direct inheritance is at the rate base class. So that is same we can view If you want to check for any class internally, like data layer, if you see, right click on that and click on inheritance. So but here both dual inheritance option will not be there. So if you take data layer, pattern will apply, division class pattern will apply. For organization, the parent is data fn, so this will apply. And for data fn, at the rate base class will apply. Okay, or the same actually we can in the image means I showed that in the particular when I mentioned the names here, I mentioned the complete name. Okay, I did not mention only integration, but for complete layer I mentioned this same. Okay, it is also same only, nothing difference. So like that in application, so these are all the inheritance types we have. So we don't manually update or we don't manually change anytime. So just to know the information about these class types and inheritance, that is just a technical information if we have about what are the names we have in the classes and what are the types of inheritance we have, that is enough. So you don't create any class manually, or you don't create any, or you don't manually update any inheritance in the application. Most of the scenarios it will be PEGA will generate everything in the backend. Okay, so first clear till here? Any questions first before moving to the next topic?
I want to ask one question because I am not coming from the IT section. So,
Okay.
what is the difference between the abstract classes and concrete classes? I just want to
See,
know.
in abstract, so coming to PEGA, see in abstract classes, I can add the rules and reuse them in the other classes. Okay, so I can reuse anywhere in the application if I define any data in the abstract classes. But what I can't do, what I said, PEGA is a design environment and also run environment, but I can't run the data in the abstract classes. What I said, in abstract classes, I can't run the data. Okay, so that is one thing. But in concrete, I can also run that data. That is some workflows we can define in the concrete, and I can also execute that data in the concrete. So simply difference is in abstract and concrete both are reusable. First thing, common thing is both are reusable, but in abstract we can't execute the data, but in concrete we can execute the data. Just if you PEGA wise, if you remember that particular point, that is enough to understand the development in PEGA. So in abstract and all, we can't run the rules or we can't compile the rules. But in concrete, we can add the rules, reuse them, and also we can execute them. Okay. So there are many other technical terms, but don't bother about that. Like we can call these as non-initialized classes, and these are initialized. So, but meaning is simple understanding. PEGA wise, if you want to understand means, so in abstract we can't execute the data, but in concrete we can execute the data. Okay, here we can't execute, but in concrete we can execute. So that is enough for a PEGA developer, even if you come from any non-IT background. So this particular understanding is enough to understand the PEGA development concepts. Okay.
Sir, if it is not executed means like we are not defining any implementation under
Means we
abstract
don't
classes.
define the sessions like a flow sessions and all. We don't define in the abstract. The configuration
Abstract.
to define the workflows will not be there. Like what are the design task we created, that flow configuration we can define in the concrete, and we can run in the same concrete class we can run. But in abstract class, they will not be having an option to execute the, that is design that workflows and execute. There will not be any configuration. Okay, only that. But that also you can understand within a few sessions. You'll understand some 3-4 classes after we'll be working on the flow concept. Then I mention some more points. Okay, now if you just remember this thing, that is enough. That will help you to understand the coming concepts easily. Okay, so others, any questions? So any questions before? Okay, then I'll go for a small concept based, some technical concept. This is related to the, see, your roles will be there in PEGA, right? Some PEGA development roles and all. So those I'm going to give some basic technical information only. Okay, first of all, any issues regarding installation up to here? Up to here, any issues regarding installation? No issues, right?
No issues, sir.
Okay,
No,
okay,
no
fine.
issue.
No issues, sir.
Okay. Okay. So basically, you will be working as a developer, I said, right? So in the development, application development, what we are going to do is, see, under these classes only, we are going to do, means in the application, there is a case type also we have, but case type I'm not discussing now. We'll be working under the modules in the some advanced sessions, but initially we'll understand the complete design structure from the, see, there are different ways in PEGA to define the rules. Okay. See, one is from App Explorer, we can define, or when application is divided into modules, means we can define from the case types, or the same thing, there is a menu here. From records also we can open the rules and view the rules, or also sometimes we can view all the rules which are created in the record explorer, or there is another option called create menu. From here also we can define the same. See, the thing is, one option will be there in multiple places in this portal, that is to create the rules in application. There are multiple ways are there. Okay, but mostly we will be working from the app explore, even though we have the options available in different places. Most of the time you're going to, even after the module is created also, or if module is not created, means directly will be creating under the work layer. Okay, so like that, if you want to see all the categories, first of all, see, these are all the different categories we'll be having. So in that, some are automatically generated, and some categories, whenever we define few rules, some other rules will be generated in the backend. Example, when application is generated, automatically these application definition rules will be automatically generated. See, if you want to view your overview of, see, when application is generated using the application widget, see, these particular rules are automatically created. For example, if you go to the application, so, okay, not here. For that, you need to go to the view option. So if I want to see in my system, the application generated is this one. Okay, so what are all the application name we generated? Okay, this is a framework. So like that, under that, some implementation setup will be generated. And if I want to open the same, there is another way. Inside the header option, or in the header option, application menu will be there. If I want to see the same, application overview will be there. From there we can open, so where we can see this is the starting page. When we log into the application, you'll be getting the starting page, overview page will be getting. So that is one thing. And other thing is definition page will be there. Application definition page means it is already defined, but if want to view the same, again we can open. It is defined under the user defined framework. This application is defined under the user defined framework, and it contains some internally what are these rule sets I'll be discussing. See, in application, some container will be there to store your data in the server. It will be having some container that is called rule set. And more about the rule set, there are complete session will be on this topic. 1-2 sessions we are going to discuss only based on the rule sets and containers, that I'll discuss at the time in detail. So your application is already defined in the backend. Okay, so some rules and all, particularly no need to define manually. Through wizard, if you create any, automatically it will be generated in the backend. And other thing is, some data model rules are there. So regularly we'll be using them. So decision rules are condition rules. So PEGA contains so many condition templates, like 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 templates will be working regularly in the real time. All we are going to discuss. So your integration connectors means nothing but any other application, some service you want to consume in your application. See, what are integrations? Basically, simple example. See, nowadays you are going to, so if you have a reach, you want to do a recharge, mobile recharge you want to do. See, previously, some 10 years back and all, only one particular option will be there to do the recharge. Only through some particular site, or only through some particular website only we can do the recharge. Suppose Airtel is there, means only through Airtel we used to do. But nowadays you can do the recharge from different applications, right? See, from your bank application you can do the recharge. Every bank is providing some particular app or some application it is providing, like PageAd application. So like if it is a HDFC PageAd app like that, so every bank will offer some particular application. Or nowadays we are having this Google Pay, Phone Pay, like everything, like a free charge something, Mobivic, like many things are there, right? Like any from Paytm, through Paytm we can pay. So these are all some new sources and new services we have in the present days. So your application when you are going to do the recharge, see that application which we are going to open, it is an app or say small mobile application or any web application. So it will be having the data. See, directly it can't access, but when you enter your mobile number, it is going to load that information, what type of operator it is. Sometimes it will load automatically, sometimes we may enter manually. But how it will know? Because it will have the service, that particular Airtel service, it can connect. Suppose you are doing some Airtel recharge, so it is going to connect to the Airtel service and it will fetch the data. So whether the mobile number is valid or not, if valid, then it will allow that Airtel service will allow the recharge option for that particular provider. So like that, nowadays you are going to pay electricity bill through apps. Like you can pay your DTH bill, whatever, anything is possible, right? Gas bill you can pay, anything you can pay, anything through these services what are available. So they may not have a direct access to database, but when request is given, it will check it in the service database and provide the response if it is valid or not. Like you want to pay some Tata Sky bill, like you have to enter the provider number or mobile number you have, and it will verify the details, and if valid number is given means it will fetch the details and it will allow the transaction to be done. So those all come under integration. Like that, in PEGA also we can load other services data, we can load, that is we can consume other application data. Or if you define any new service for your application, other applications will use this data. So if you want to consume means we have to use connectors, if you want to define a new service means we have to go with integration services. But again, for that, wizards are there, manual options are there, and wizards are there. Both we are going to understand. Like that, we are connecting with that, some mapping rules will be having, some resource rules will be having. So all are part of this integration. These four concepts are related to integration concepts. And like that, organization, these are user IDs creation, but in the real time every developer will not do, but I'll show you some procedures and examples regarding that, like workflow rules, validations, work parties, service level, flow actions. So many things, all these options we are going to work under the process. Like report generation tools are there, security concepts are there, survey tools are there, asking a question, posting a question. So like that, some survey configuration design tools are there. Admin roles, see, some admin roles automatically it will generate, but few will be creating manual as a developer. Like technical rules will be there, user interface design rules are there. Means here all the templates will be available. See, from zero no need to start, but all the templates what are we are seen here, all the categories what are I have shown here, these only we are going to use in the application development. So PEGA means these are only, these will be there. Internally there are some other settings in the header and footer, but 90% of the design when you're going to work under any PEGA application development, so these are all the categories will be working. So PEGA is only this, okay? So PEGA means your application development configuration only given under these categories. Any kind of design you're going to do in the application, you're going to just use these features and complete the application, and that you are going to learn all these things which are needed for the developer. We are going to use all these categories and features and complete the application development. Okay, so that is about the basic to up to here it is introduction, and from tomorrow we are going to begin the main practicals, guys. Okay, from tomorrow our PEGA development will start. Okay, so clear up to here? So up to here, whatever you discuss, even if you don't have any knowledge also, no worries. But what are the discussion like regarding classes and inheritance, some points and all, it's useful if you understand. That means it will be more easy to design in the application. But up to here in the real time, nothing you are going to do as a developer. From the next topic, whatever we are going to discuss, from there the developer role will begin in the PEGA application development. Okay, so that is up to the introduction is completed, and from tomorrow we are going to begin the main project. We are going to, already project is application structure is defined, so we are going to begin the development in the PEGA application. In the same application, I'm going to implement all the, what are the categories are there, all the categories step by step, how you are going to do in the real time. So we are going to implement in this project. Okay, so that's for today, guys. So any questions?
Sir, one thing, the integration means if you want to add any new modules means we can use that, no?
Yeah, case types, through case types we can define the modules. And even integrations also, some subclasses will be using through wizard or through manual process also we can define.
Okay. You said about the connectors, right? Connectors and
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. So every time we create a connector, a subclass will be created, integration class will be generated. Whether you use manual configuration or through widget, a separate subclass, and under that we can define all the resources, mapping rules, everything under that subclass we can define. So it is also considered as a subclass, okay, not a module. We will call it as some subclass will be generated, and under that we can define all the container rules.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, that's for today. So tomorrow I'll continue the development part in the next session. Okay, so that's for today. We'll meet tomorrow, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.